Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk all things fandom, and we talk about them in a positive way. Today is Throwback Thursday, where we talk about a little bit of news, and then I give you a throwback movie that kind of relates to it in some way or another. Today we're going to be talking about Saw 10 getting an earlier release date, which kind of prevents it from coming out around the same time as the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And then our throwback movie is Willy's Wonderland from 2021. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so our movie news today is that the Saw X movie, Saw 10, will be coming out on September 29th instead of October 27th. This original air date of October 27th would have put it coming out on the same day as Five Nights at Freddy's. And there's nothing wrong with two horror movies coming out on the same day. Just like there's nothing wrong with two action movies coming out on the same day or two superhero movies. However, the more popular franchise will probably be the one that people go to see. So studios don't really like to compete like that, if at all possible. So it's actually better for all parties if these movies don't have the exact same release date. And with this new release date, we have confirmation on the plot of Saw 10. And the confirmation we've gotten about it is pretty much what we've been hearing from other sources, that basically this is going to take place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. A very sick John is going to travel to Mexico to find a cure for his cancer. Well, he gets scammed. And in true Jigsaw fashion, he is going to turn the tables on these people and teach them a lesson. So it will be a lot more of his usual traps that we've seen in the past. However, I'm kind of intrigued by the fact that they are going backwards in this movie, because at least we know Jigsaw himself is going to be the mastermind behind these puzzles this time. And if you've watched the previous movies, you know what I mean by that. A lot of times it seemed like more and more apprentices were coming up. So I feel that this movie should be pretty good, and I'm actually excited it's not going to come out on the same day as Five Nights at Freddy's, because I look forward to seeing both of these movies, and if they do come out on the same weekend, I could go see both of them. However, sometimes you like to save a little bit of money and you like to pick one that you're going to go see that particular day. And then life becomes an intrusion and maybe you don't get back to see the other one as quickly as you want. And I don't want to be put in that situation, and I know you guys don't either. Having both of these movies separated by an entire month, more or less, is definitely a plus. That being said, let's move on to our throwback movie review, which our throwback movie review has to do a little bit more with Five Nights at Freddy's than it does with Saw. And that is Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage. Just like Five Nights at Freddy's, this movie takes place in a pizzeria with animatronic animals acting as a band, singing happy birthday to the kids and things like that. Now, the place has been in kind of shambles, very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's, where you are just put in charge of watching it and everything. In this particular case, Nicolas Cage's character is assigned the task of cleaning it up. So he's put in there overnight to clean up the area. And when he is put in there overnight to clean up the area, he figures out really quick that these animatronics are alive. Now, the funny thing about this movie is originally Nicolas Cage had a lot more dialogue. Well, not a lot more, but he had some dialogue. And the thing was, it wasn't a whole lot of dialogue, and it really wasn't useful for him to have that dialogue. So Nicolas Cage said to the director and writers and stuff, hey, can I mime this? And they agreed. They agreed that he should be able to mime it. So the directors kind of allowed him to just not have any lines at all. Now, a lot of people will say that Nicolas Cage probably phoned in this movie, because this was, I think, during the time when he was paying back his taxes and all that stuff. However, Nicolas Cage himself has gone on record as saying he never phoned in any movie, no matter how big or small. If he chose to be in the movie, he always gave it 100%. And I actually believe this, because Nicolas Cage is one of those actors that gives it 100%. And for an actor to go all out and not have a single speaking line within the movie is virtually unheard of. It's one of those things that is so unique that it makes this movie that much more intriguing when you're watching it. Because you have to wonder what he's thinking and what his motivations are, and he has to convey these through his facial features. All the while fighting off these animatronics who come to life to try to kill him. And he's determined he's going to stay all night because he needs the money to get his car fixed. His car is broken down, and the mechanic says, hey, I know a guy. They take him into this place to clean it up. And once they do, he knows that he can't leave. He needs the money too bad. And that's kind of the thing there with this movie, is that Nicolas Cage has to convey just how desperate this guy is to get this money. And these animatronics in the movie, they look a little creepy. And that's not a bad thing, because ultimately there are times in this movie where they do give you a little bit of a jump scare. However, the movie does come across a little bit more action-y than anything else. There is a little bit of blood, and the animatronics in the movie, they are pretty vicious. But that's kind of the point, and the movie has a lot of fun with what it is. It's also interesting to note that this started off as a short story. This started off as a short story, a little short movie made by the writers, and they actually set forth to make this movie into its own thing, make this movie into a larger project. There is also a series of comic books, if you can find them, that tell the origins of the different animatronic creatures. I have not read these comics. However, if I ever see them, I'm definitely picking them up to check them out. Now, also, it's interesting to note that for a 2021 movie, this movie had its own issues to deal with. And it's definitely become a little bit of a cult classic. And with that being said, the idea that we are getting a Five Nights at Freddy's movie now, you might want to check this one out just to kind of build up your excitement while you wait for Five Nights at Freddy's. But if you have seen this movie, I want to know what you guys think. Alright, so of course we want to know what you guys think. Leave us a comment in the comment box below. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. It's free and it helps the channel. Miko says we need more subscribers, and you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows that fandom is family.